Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, crypto market review here with Altcoin Sherpa. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. Today I'm just going to be reviewing BTC, ETH, and LTC, and let's get to it. I am bullish on BTC. I had a short video on this yesterday. This is still a bullish market structure. You can see higher highs and higher lows across the board, and it's still really bullish. I mean, there's nothing you can really say about that. You can see higher highs, higher lows, and I expect a higher high to be formed. I don't know where it's going to be, but price has ranged under this area for about a 1 month period, and you can kind of see this swing high back in late February before this down down move. This high area was resistance in late March and early April, but price has finally been able to break through. So as I said, these are higher highs, higher lows across the board. Still a bullish market structure. I think that given the overall context as well, this is just still really bullish. I mean, you could just use pretty much any indicator, any price action that you want. I mean, simple SR level right here at the 60K level. Price finally was able to break through, as well as the all-time high level as well at 62K. So yeah, still really bullish on this. I don't know where the target is going to be, and it's still kind of crazy to me that Bitcoin is this high, but as far as targets go, I mean, you could use like fib extensions and stuff like that. So let's look to see what this looks like. So like 68K or so would be maybe the next area, and then 73K or 74. That would be my target in the short term. And we could also use a fib extension here as well from these. Still kind of the same levels. But yeah, overall, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin in general. It looks really good from a market structure perspective. EMAs and moving averages are still fine. Other indicators are still fine. Simple price action still looks good. Yeah, looks great. If I were to view targets, again, I would use fib extensions or really just look at funding rates and everything else across the board. And other on-chain metrics. But you know, if you're just looking at price action alone, it's kind of hard to tell what target areas this will have. What I do expect, though, is that alt BTC pairs will die off in the short term as this looks stronger, and alt USD pairs should go higher for the most part, but there will be some exceptions. I mean, SRM coins that recently pumped decently will probably pull back, stuff like SRM and you know, those types of coins the last few days. But alt BTC pairs will suffer until this thing finds a top. So like, you know, if you see this blitzing up to like 75K, your alt BTC pairs are probably going to go down. So very big word of caution in that regard. Make sure that you watch your alt BTC pairs. I do expect them to recover a lot more. So again, it depends on your trading strategy, and it depends on your overall timeline. If you're okay with just holding through the downtrend, then that's fine. You know, maybe you are a part-time investor and you don't really have time to look at the charts, that's totally okay. If you are worried about the short-term downtrend, though, for your alt BTC pairs, I would urge you to be cautious in this next few days watching this price action. But overall, still bullish. If I were to view dips and Bitcoin were to go hit a low, I mean, I really wouldn't want it to break this trend line. I wouldn't want it to break some of these other lows as well that were established, kind of around 56 and 50K, or 53 and 50, 43. I mean, I wouldn't want it to go that low, obviously, but I would want this trend line to stay intact. I mean, overall high time frame bullish market structure as well. And one of the main reasons, too, of why I'm not really bearish on this yet is that we haven't really seen a big blow off top yet. You know, buy, big buy volume followed by like one last exhaustion pump and high sell volume, kind of like how we saw for the market top in 2017. We haven't really quite seen this exhaustion blow off top yet. So like I'm really looking forward, or not looking forward, I'm looking to seeing some big wick, high buy volume, followed by some sort of downtrend, one last exhaustion pump with a pump on low buy volume. And while the market is getting euphoric, it will range, and then it will dump. So this is what's going to probably happen eventually. I don't know when or where. This is like 100K. Maybe it's going to be there. I don't know. Maybe it'll be 120 or 150. I don't know where it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be 80. Who knows? Like, you know, but you can't predict it. But that's the pattern that I'm viewing for the market top. I don't really see that here. I don't see this big blow off top. I mean, at the end of a trend, end of a cycle, you see these big blow off top moves. Like at 2017, I don't see that yet. I mean, maybe you could argue back in January this was one, but this is really just consolidation for another leg up. So, yep, we're just going to keep watching BTC, still bullish overall, viewing maybe like 59K as like a immediate dip area or so, simple SR level. And it's certainly possible it dips lower, of course. I really wouldn't want to see it start to dipping below these levels, though, just because it's going to form a lower low. But for now, trend is still bullish, as I said, so still looking good. ETH USD still looks good. I just did this post on Twitter. What we saw before was we saw this accumulation period all throughout January where price did this range, and then it went up 50%. Over this move over the next several weeks, and then it hit this another accumulation area for about a month, similar to how we saw with January, although the price action was a little bit wider. You saw this was more easily considered accumulation just based on the tighter candle wicks and bodies. You know, when you see something like this, theta is a good example if you want to study accumulation. This was a little bit wider of a range, but in my opinion, it's still accumulation. So I believe that ETH USD has more upside. I think 3,000 is a pretty good bet. I mean, this ranged for about a month and went up 50% almost. Certainly, in my opinion, I don't think there's any reason why this can't go another 50% up to 3,000s. Still looks bullish overall. Moving averages and everything else looks healthy. This month-long range allowed price to reset a little bit after its 50% run. And, you know, the bigger the asset, so like the bigger the asset or market cap, like Ethereum, the more time is needed for accumulation for a big move. It's not like some, you know, 550th ranked CMC coin with like a tiny market cap that just takes like a few million to pump. The bigger caps usually will take longer to accumulate. So yeah, I think this is still a good upside. I mean, if you're viewing dips overall, if you want to look for entry, something like 1900 would be reasonable in my opinion. Maybe a quick look down. If things go really bad, then you have other levels like the 1850s and the low 1700s as well as 1650, but I don't view price as going to those levels quite yet. I mean, it would take quite a bit of, it would be a pretty nasty wick down. It would be like kind of one of those flash market crashes, but I still expect these areas to have some solid support. So not expecting that really. So as I said, if I'm looking to buy dips, I mean, if you want to get kind of aggressive, like this 2100 area is an SR flip right here. And then the 1900s would kind of be like my next area up, the mid-low 1900s. So yeah, those are kind of like the immediate levels that I'm viewing. ETH BTC, I am bullish on ETH BTC, of course. I mean, you've already seen some tweets on it before. I've already talked about this market cycle as well. And it's held true every single year so far, really, where we see big uptrend in December, big downtrend in February. And this is obviously it's not necessarily always December. It's not always February. I mean, for this year, it was like strong in January, like dump in February, and then moving in April. So what you have basically is 1 month pumping in December or January, 1 month dumping in February to March, 1 month pumping from April to May, or sometimes again these are March, or it just depends on the year. And then you have in 2018 and 2019 you had big summer downtrends, whereas 2020 had a big uptrend for altcoins, thanks to decentralized finance. But regardless, what I'm trying to say is that I think that we are about to hit this uptrend period for altcoins, and ETH BTC is usually a pretty good indicator. So I'm expecting a few good weeks for altcoins. I would say 1 to 6 weeks or so. I don't know how long or what. I do expect there to be a downtrend similar to how we saw the previous 3 years. However, I don't know if this is going to be more like 2019 and 2018, where we just saw massive summer pain. This would likely be a result of Bitcoin going much higher and just punishing alt BTC pairs. Certainly possible, of course. Or if it's going to be more like 2020, where we saw altcoins really flourish very well because of decentralized finance. Of course, these altcoins really did pull back very, very hard in the fall of 2020. So there's like that to consider. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I think that altcoins are going to be very bullish in the next few weeks. And I expect some downtrend after that. I don't know if it's going to be a quick downtrend like we saw in 2020 or a longer term downtrend like we saw in previous years. It's really going to depend on BTC. But I'm really hoping that we end this year in a bullish market cycle. It would be great to see, like especially for Bitcoin. As long as BTC is in a bullish market cycle, then you're going to see these mini cycles for altcoins. But if Bitcoin is just in a long, prolonged downtrend like we saw in 2018, then you will feel the pain. I mean, and you'll arguably feel the pain, and this is obviously if you trade altcoins only like me. You'll feel the pain even if Bitcoin is bullish, like, if we saw like right here, for instance, these alt BTC pairs just died off, even though Bitcoin was really moving strongly. So it really is going to depend on Bitcoin overall in a macro sense, but I am expecting some big pain for altcoins. I don't know when it's going to be, but if you look at the previous 3 years, I mean, these altcoins really pulled back huge. If you look at like YFI and some of these other alts, like they really died off. And that's what happened in fall of 2020, which is really not that long ago. So make sure that you enjoy this ride over the next few weeks, but make sure you take your profits, because it's eventually going to happen where alts pull back. I don't know when or where, as I said, but just keep an eye on it. LTC USD, I think it still has a really good upside overall. A weekly close area at 275 is approaching. I expect that to have some resistance, followed by this weekly close again at 320, and then finally the all-time high levels at 420. These are the next areas up. Still overall bullish on this. I think it's inevitable that 420 gets tagged. I mean, if you want just like to put spot and chill in LTC USD, I still am bullish on this pair overall. Like, if you look at ETH USD and BTC USD, those both hit all-time high levels, and LTC is still far away from that. So you still have a lot of good upside for this if you want to just assume this is going to hit 420, which I personally do. Still bullish on this overall. Still probably better upside on LTC USD than Bitcoin and ETH in the short term too. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Good luck out there. I appreciate all the support.